Emily Carson had always considered herself someone who could read between the lines. She knew the way her husband, Daniel, spoke when something was on his mind, but he wasn't quite ready to say it. That evening, as she stirred the pot of vegetable soup on the stove, she noticed him standing in the doorway of the kitchen with a thoughtful look. He started, his voice tentative, "I have a request, and I know it might sound a little unusual." She put the wooden spoon down and leaned against the counter, curious. "All right, you've got my attention. What's on your mind?" Daniel rubbed the back of his neck, clearly weighing his words. "There's someone I'd like you to invite over for dinner. Her name's Claire. She helped me once, years ago. Before you and I met." The request caught Emily off guard, but she wasn't alarmed. She trusted Daniel deeply, and his tone was sincere. "Helped you? How?" she asked. Daniel smiled faintly. "It's a long story. I think it's one she should tell you herself." Emily wasn't the type to say no to meeting someone important to her husband, so she nodded. "All right, I'll invite her." "When?" Daniel's relief was visible. "This Saturday evening. I'll take care of the cooking." Saturday arrived with a gentle warmth in the air. The late afternoon sun spilled gold across the living room as Emily adjusted the cushions on the couch. She was curious about Claire, the woman who apparently had a meaningful place in Daniel's past. She had received a polite and warm phone call from Claire earlier in the week, confirming she would be there by 5 p.m. The doorbell rang right on time. Emily opened the door to see a woman in her late 20s, with gentle features and kind eyes. Claire held a small gift bag and a bouquet of fresh daisies. "Hi, you must be Emily," she said with a friendly smile. From the moment Claire stepped inside, Emily sensed an air of warmth about her. They sat in the living room, chatting over tea while Daniel worked in the kitchen. Claire explained that years ago, she had been working at a small diner in another town when she met Daniel. At the time, he had been going through one of the hardest periods of his life: job loss, uncertainty, and the recent passing of his father. "He came in one night, looking like the weight of the world was on his shoulders," Claire said softly. "I didn't know him then, but I could see he needed someone to talk to. So I brought him extra coffee and just listened." Daniel joined them with a tray of cookies, smiling. "She did more than listen," he said. "That conversation, it gave me the push I needed to get back on my feet. Claire told me about a small company hiring in the area, and that's where I ended up working before I met you." Emily felt her heart warm at the story. Here was someone who had offered kindness without expecting anything in return, and that small act had led Daniel toward a better path and eventually to her. After dinner, the three of them took a walk to the nearby park. The air was crisp with the first hints of autumn, and the leaves painted the ground in shades of gold and red. Emily and Claire found themselves deep in conversation, discovering they shared a love of gardening, reading mystery novels, and baking bread from scratch. By the time they returned to the house, Emily felt as though she had known Claire for years. Later that evening, after Claire had left and the dishes were done, Emily sat beside Daniel on the couch. "I see why she's important to you," Emily said. "She's the kind of person you don't forget." Daniel nodded. "Exactly. I just wanted you to meet her. I wanted her to meet the woman who means everything to me." Emily smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. Over the following weeks, Claire became a regular visitor. She and Emily began working on a small community project together, planting a flower garden at the local library. It was during these afternoons, with soil under their nails and the scent of fresh blooms in the air, that Emily realized something important. Sometimes, a single act of kindness can ripple through years, touching lives in ways no one can predict. Months later, the garden was in full bloom, and the library hosted a small gathering to celebrate. As Emily looked around, at Daniel, at Claire, at the colorful flowers, she thought about how one request from her husband had brought someone truly special into their lives. And she was grateful she had said yes.